Former NFL quarterback Steve McNair found dead today in a downtown Nashville condominium, shot multiple times, including once in the head. McNair was 36 years old. Police are investigating.
Police called to the scene about 1:30 Central Time, where they found McNair on a couch and a 20-year-old woman who had also been shot, once in the head, a pistol near her body. We have this statement from the family of Steve McNair, just recently issued through his agent, Bus Cook. The families of Steve McNair in Mississippi and Tennessee appreciate the concern, thoughts, and prayers during this difficult time of our loss of a husband, father, and son. The family requests everyone would allow them time to mourn. The McNair family appreciates and continues to request your prayers at this time. And joining us now from Nashville is Bob Holtzman. Police trying to work through the case, fans and friends trying to work through the shock. Bob, we're about 10 hours out from the news here of McNair's death. We know some, but police proceeding with great caution here. What can you tell us?
Well, you get the impression police are getting very close to making an announcement in this case. There will be autopsies done on both Steve McNair and the 20-year-old girl tomorrow. And what they've said at this point is that McNair, as you mentioned, was shot multiple times, including once in the head, and that the 20-year-old girl had one gunshot wound to her chest and that the gun was found near her. Now, there are reports here that this may have been a murder-suicide, that Steve McNair may have been killed by the 20-year-old woman, and then she may have killed herself. Of course, the autopsies will prove that, which will be done tomorrow. But again, at this point, the police do not believe that Steve McNair's wife is involved. They say she is very distraught. And police here at headquarters here in downtown Nashville explained a little bit more of this case just about 45 minutes ago.
An examination of the bodies at the crime scene showed that Steve McNair was shot multiple times. His female friend, Miss Kazemi, suffered one gunshot wound to the head, it appears at this moment. A pistol was found near Miss Kazemi's body. As far as the circumstances of how the bodies were discovered, shortly before 1 o'clock today, Wayne Neely, a local sporting goods dealer who is a close friend of Steve McNair's, who co-rents this condominium with McNair, went by again shortly before 1 o'clock. The door was locked. He unlocked the door, went in, saw them on the sofa, saw McNair on the sofa and Miss Kazemi on the floor, but at first blush he didn't think anything was wrong. He walked to the kitchen, and when he walked back, he saw the blood. He exited the condominium. He telephoned McNair's friend, Robert Gaddy. Robert Gaddy came over to the condominium, and it was Gaddy who called the police department at 1:35 this afternoon.
Now, the other victim was just identified tonight by police here in Nashville as Sahil Kazemi. She, again, is 20 years old. She is described as being a friend of McNair's, and what makes this case even more interesting is police have announced that just a couple of days ago, in fact, Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, Kazemi was arrested for driving under the influence in a 2007 Escalade with Steve McNair in the car. McNair was in the passenger seat. It's a car that is co-owned by Kazemi and McNair, and that Kazemi was arrested. McNair was allowed to leave the scene in a taxi. So again, there are a lot of very interesting announcements that have been made tonight in this case. Police still trying to piece it all together, and again, with the autopsy being done tomorrow, we expect to know a lot more here in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Bob, obviously people in Tennessee and around the NFL stunned by today's events, but can you give us sort of a sense of the loss the people are feeling there?
Well, I think it's loss, but I think it's even more shock. I mean, the first thing is just simply shock for the fact that this happened, and the second thing is the shock about how it happened. I mean, Steve McNair, the impression of him was always as a very good community guy, a very good family man. He had 3 children. He had only been married once. He was still married to his wife. They'd been married for 12 years. So the fact that the details have come out now that he was killed with a 20-year-old woman, likely overnight or early this morning in a downtown condo, which of course was not the home that his family lived in right outside Nashville here, is probably what surprises people more than anything, is just because of the impression of him was that he was a guy who had his personal life all buttoned up and was a role model both on the field and off.
Now, he finished his last 2 seasons with the Ravens, but he was in Nashville. When do we expect to hear more from the Titans, the team he spent most of his time with?
Well, you're right. I mean, the last uniform we saw Steve McNair in was a Baltimore Ravens uniform, but there's no doubt he is a Tennessee Titan, and the people here in Nashville think of him as such. He had a very close relationship, understandably, with head coach Jeff Fisher. They were with the team for years together, and Jeff Fisher will be the one speaking on behalf of the Tennessee Titans. Now, the problem is that Jeff Fisher is overseas in Kuwait right now on a USO tour, and he won't be back until either tomorrow night or early Monday morning. So at this point, the Titans have told me that Jeff Fisher will be the one speaking, and it will likely happen on Monday.
All right, Bob Holtzman reporting from Nashville and detailing what we know about the death of former NFL quarterback Steve McNair. McNair was drafted 3rd overall by the Houston Oilers in '95 out of Elkhorn State, Mississippi. Played 13 seasons in the NFL, 11 with the Oilers Titans franchise, and as Bob touched upon, the last 2 in Baltimore. He retired in April of 2008, selected to 3 Pro Bowls, and shared the league's MVP award with Peyton Manning in 2003.